Hello y'all, this is the Hearts of Iron 4 mod the Mythos. It seeks to bring the world of the horror series Monument Mythos to a strategy game. Moving on to the select country screen, we have a few featured nations here, and they are the United States of America, the British Republic, France, the Republic of China, the Allied Trizone, the German Democratic Republic, and the United Soviet Systems. This modification is only a concept as a recording, and if you're unaware, the Monument Mythos can be described as a collection of various historical mockumentaries centered around an alternate version of our universe, featuring various anomalies that work around or within national monuments. Such national monuments include the Statue of Liberty, the Lincoln Memorial, and the Freedom Statue on top of the US Capitol. At least I think it is. It's the most prominent one, perhaps. And I'm going to have some spoilers here, just to give you an idea of what it's like. It features very malevolent interdimensional trees. The Freedom Statue, I don't know how to say this, it kind of is used as an assassin for the government. There's a battle between the combined remnants of a bunch of dead US soldiers who take over the Air Force One plane, and Alcatraz as a prison kind of multiplies. I think like some version of George Washington, he lives in a way in the Statue of Liberty, and he eats people. And there's also the Horned Serpent, which is like this huge entity that is kind of buried underneath the United States of America. And there's also different multiverses different universes for the Monument Mythos, and it's like the Dean verse and the Nixon verse. I think in one, James Dean, who died in the 1950s, if I'm thinking of the right person, he became president, and there's just all sorts of very interesting stuff. Very well made series, frankly, very well put together as far as horror and analog horror, I suppose, pseudo-analog horror, and it's very nice. And so this mod does use quite a bit of the developer's own lore for the world, uses their own ideas, since the Monument Mythos primarily focuses on things relating to the USA, outside of sometimes universal ending threats, but it's mainly a USA-focused series in terms of its monuments and such. And so this mod, like I said before, is only a concept, so there's no new ideologies as of this time, and there is no different kind of research tree. It's just vanilla HOI4. And let's go over all the factions in the world. And I just want to mention, as I've said before, concept mod, there's no actual event content, although it looks like there is a work in progress focus tree for the United States of America led by JFK. And speaking of JFK and world leaders, in this timeline, the USSR, or at least some form of it, is led by Yuri Gagarin, who is historically, in our own timeline, a Soviet cosmonaut. And that is very interesting, to say the least. But let's go over all the factions in the world. There's only two. They're NATO and the Comintern, or the ComCon. But NATO consists of, the United States of America, American Japan, the British Republic, the Allied Trizone, France, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Belgium, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, the Dutch East Indies, Republic in Italy, the Republic of China, and the Philippines, and that is NATO. Meanwhile, in ComCon, the United Soviet Systems faction, that is the United Soviet Systems and all their puppets, such as the German Democratic Republic, Soviet Hungary, Soviet Finland, Bulgaria, Soviet Romania, Soviet Austria, Soviet Poland, Soviet Czechoslovakia, Mongolia, and Tanatuva, even though I don't think Tanatuva and Mongolia are technically on the map, so they're kind of just phantom nations in a sense in the grander scheme of things when it comes to just the world map here. So let's see. Yeah, Mongolia and Tanatuva do not exist in this mod's world by 1962, although they are part of that faction. And let's now go over all the countries in the world. We'll start in South America and then just move on from there. We have Venezuela, Colombia, This is Ecuador, Brazil, we have Peru, Bolivia, Argentina. A few of the portraits here look very monotone and black and white in a sense, and some don't. As I've said before, concept mod, some things probably are work in progress. There's Chile, there's the territories of the British Republic, the Netherlands, and France in South America. Then moving on to Africa, which by 1962 in the Mythos world has been decolonized. We have, well, for the most part anyway, we have the Kingdom of Morocco. There is France and Algeria. We have the Kingdom of Libya. There's the, what in the world is going on in Egypt? The Pharaoh government. Very interesting. Yeah, very, very intriguing. Mauritania, there's Mali. We're going to West Africa now. Senegal. We have Portuguese West Africa, Guinea, Sierra Leone. And I think a generic portrait, well, at least one of the countries here in Africa has the portrait of, I believe he's the African politician that was elected a few years ago. He's named Adolf Hitler. No relations to Hitler. He just happens to he's named Hitler. The source portrait of this generic portrait. The source, the identity there. So we have the Ivory Coast, Liberia, Ghana, Upper Volta, making our way through West Africa. France is in Niger for whatever reason. There's Dahomey. We have Togo, Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and going more into past the Pharaoh government, which they do control Sudan as well as Egypt. We have Ethiopia, Sudan. There is the Central African Republic. We have Cameroon, Gabon, nationalist Spain, controls some territory, Congo, Brazzaville, Zaire, which is led by a generic leader who has the portrait of that guy named Hitler. British Republic, Mozambique, we have Botswana, Zimbabwe, there's Angola, and we have South Africa, and there's also the Republic of Madagascar, and that's all of Africa, I believe. So let's move over to Australia now. It's Australia. We didn't have New Zealand. They're part of NATO. There's Papua New Guinea. They're independent. Dutch East Indies. There's British Malaya, although they're not actually British Malaya. They're independent British Malaya, which makes things kind of weird, I suppose. There's the Philippines, puppet of the USA. There's the first saved state, also known as Vietnam. We have the Republic of Cambodia, the Siamese Empire, the Republic of Laos. Then we have the Republic of China. I guess the nationalist won the Chinese Civil War in this timeline in the Mythos world. And here's the United Soviet Systems controlling North Korea. We have Korea. Then there's American Japan. And going over to the Himalayas and the Indian subcontinent, we have Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh. The British Raj is here for some reason. There's Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. Moving into the Middle East, there's Iraq, Turkey, Syria. We have Palestine. There's no Israel in the Mythos world by 1962. It looks like there's Saudi Arabia. There's the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Yemen. And let's go into Europe now after we got done with Yemen and Oman. So here there is the United Soviet Systems. They have tons of puppets. They took over Finland, Soviet Finland. I wonder how World War II went in this timeline. There's Soviet Poland, Soviet Romania, Bulgaria, Soviet Hungary, Soviet Czechoslovakia, the German Democratic Republic, Soviet Austria, Yugoslavia. There's Republican Italy controlling Albania. We have the Kingdom of Greece, and going more into more Western Europe, we have the Allied Trizone. There's Switzerland, Belgium, Luxembourg. There's the Netherlands, and then we have over in Scandinavia, there is Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, and Finland, of course, is controlled by the Soviets. So we have France. It's led by Charles de Gaulle. In 1962, we have nationalist Spain. There's Portugal, and going away from mainland Europe now, there's the British Republic, Scotland. I don't know what the deal is there, but it's Scotland. Then we have Ireland. There's independent Iceland. Denmark controls Greenland. And moving over to North America, we have Canada, Mexico. Then the whole Central American and Caribbean gang is here in terms of countries. The classics such as Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua. There's Costa Rica. We have Panama. And there's Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. And then we have the USA, which is led by JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And with that, this has been the Mythos. It's a mod with a lot of potential, honestly, and you can check it out in the video description. The link to it is there. What do you think of it? Tell me in the comment section below. And after you do that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.